Hello, I am Micah. You probably already know that. And I want to get your feedback on something that I think is important to hear your voice because you listen to my videos, you watch my videos. Some of you follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and even Patreon. And I want to know what your thoughts are because you have been watching me for years now, and I have not been consistent on YouTube because a lot of the content I share, even though it may be in regards to my healing and recovering from my love addictive patterns and the things I've learned in my relationships, sexual, romantic, both, or any other relationship, anything that I have learned, I have shared on YouTube if I can keep it fairly PC. But some of the more difficult parts of my journey and some of the raw information, I don't know is appropriate for YouTube. So I've been putting it on my Patreon. But Patreon doesn't get a lot of traction. And I want your opinion on, because you guys gave me good feedback when I was worried I needed to cut out meat, which I pretty much did have to cut out meat. But that's another video and another topic. So healing is all encompassing all these things, right? So I have been throwing back and forth the idea of creating an OnlyFans. And I realize that OnlyFans is for people, it was created for people to have a platform where they would have a little more fluidity with their creative process. And it's less restrictive than other social media channels. So it kind of, from that was birthed these more sexual profiles. And no judgment for me, obviously. I have a Patreon with some of my artwork, and to me, beautiful art includes nudity, male or female or non-binary. I love the human form in general. I think that it's beautiful, and I think that there's something to be said for that. But a lot of my trauma from childhood was from an injury that affected my sexuality. And I think that that's all intimately related. My love addiction patterns, my story, everything that is who I am is all intertwined with my sexuality. The healing stuff that I do with herbs, reading energy and working with energy, being a body worker, an energy worker. And people say I'm a witch. I don't identify as a witch, but people want to call me that because they don't quite understand everything. And I just try to articulate things in a way that you can understand them. But I want to know your thoughts. My concern is that I would be putting out the wrong message if I did an OnlyFans. My goal isn't, and again, no judgment. I don't think that sex work should be illegal to begin with. But that's a whole other topic. I think that people should be allowed to make money the way they see fit. I want to do it in a productive way that helps people feel related to. If they're struggling with shame around their sexuality, because I had domestic abuse, or I had an affair to get out of domestic abuse. That didn't work. But I've been through it all, pretty much. I had a traumatic injury as a child, so I wasn't sexually abused as a child, but I did have a traumatic injury where I needed reconstructive surgery as I got older, which affected my nervous system. So I have constant health problems from that injury, plus constant identity issues around my sexuality that I'm working through. And my goal isn't to be validated. I've worked through all of that. And my goal isn't necessarily to validate other people as much as it is to help other people feel related to and help them navigate these difficult, dark pathways when you're trying to come into yourself, who you are. When you've gone through recovery of love addiction or love avoidance, especially if you've gone through some kind of adult abuse. Again, I haven't been abused as a child, so I would not be as helpful with that. But I was neglected, emotional neglect. I understand as a child, and I understand physical trauma, and developmental trauma and PTSD, developmental PTSD, and how emotional unavailability in your home of origin can cause you to want to migrate to emotionally unavailable people in your adult life in order to reconcile that, and how we get stuck in these patterns from childhood. And even if we see it, we don't know quite how to get out of it or what it's going to be like when we're out of it. And I want to talk about what to expect, what to prepare for, because it's hard and it sucks. And sometimes we end up going back to what's familiar just because we don't know, like fear of the unknown is very real. And even if we start navigating into new territory and we have no blueprint of what that's supposed to look like, I want to help you create a blueprint, because I have to create one every day by myself, because nobody helped me through this. And I want to help people through this. But I want people to feel comfortable talking about their sexuality. And I've talked about this with my romantic partner, my significant other, and he doesn't have any qualms about it either. Our biggest concern is, as a couple, that it sends the wrong message about who we are as individuals and as a couple, and what we are, because it's such a conservative versus liberal world right now, and we aren't either extreme really. We're just more humanists, and I want to relate to other people's humanness. I'm not here to make people feel less lonely. That's not my job. I'm here to help you. And yes, I might by default make you feel less lonely because I'm relating to something that you're going through. Something I say resonates with you, and you realize you aren't alone. There's a big difference between loneliness and being alone, because sometimes I've been more lonely in relationships than I have been alone. So my goal is to make people feel related to, understood, heard, recognized, validated in a healing way. Like I did a toe reading for a YouTube viewer recently. And just by seeing something in her feet and relating that, because I did it through video and then I sent it to her, so it would be more authentic that way. And just by doing that, she felt related to. She felt something shift inside of her that wasn't being really recognized in a way she was searching for. Because she is, is seeing a therapist, which I always recommend to people. I'm not a therapist, and that's not how I work. But I can see something that might need to be related to in your physical body or in your energy field. And I can do reading, and I might pick up on what that is and hit that little button so that it moves. And then you can go off and you can start working with that, and you can check back in with me when you need to and keep it moving and keep the progress going. I'm here to work through your triggers. I'm here to help you recognize what you're avoiding or what is triggering you, and how do we move through that? How do we use that to our advantage to make us more powerful, to recognize our own power? And I feel like OnlyFans is the best platform for everything I want to do, to put it all in one place so I'm not scattered all over, and I can be consistent, because I'm very inconsistent on one. I've tried to be more consistent on TikTok. 1 minute a day has been fairly easy, but I need to be consistent. And I need one platform instead of all these different platforms, and then just trickle things to one platform. So I'm debating on starting an OnlyFans, and I want to hear back from you guys, because you are my biggest supporters, and you're the ones who want to hear the most about love addiction, love avoidance, how we get ourselves stuck. And I have had some amazing conversations with some of my patrons and some of my YouTube viewers, and you guys are amazing, amazingly self-aware, supportive. For the most part, everyone seems to navigate these topics respectfully, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. So what are your thoughts? If you were me, would you create an OnlyFans or keep using Patreon? I would love your feedback on this. And what would you like more of? Let me know in the comments wherever you're seeing this. If you are a patron, you can message me directly. That's another thing about OnlyFans. You'd be able to interact with me a little bit more. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. What are your thoughts? And a happy new moon. It's a new moon. It's Friday the 16th of October, a super new moon. Help me with this intention, guys.